Welcome everybody back to another episode of Monday Night Muscle, joined by the voice of professional bodybuilding, Bob Ciccarillo, and the Hall of Famer, the Sultan of Symmetry, the fabulous Flex Wheeler.
El Limpo.
El Limpo. Bob, you want to translate what El Limpo?
Only I can say that.
For the Olympia coming up, right? See?
That's true. Who's the oldest?
You are, as a matter of fact. You were born in August 1965, and of course, Bob was the youngest in December of 1965.
The baby of the group.
And I'm in that sweet spot in September, Olympia time, where we had our very first champion, Larry Scott, won the 1965 Olympia in Brooklyn, New York, Bob.
Oh, you're the elder statesman here.
Absolutely, but we're going to be talking about the fabulous one, because Flex, man, what a journey you have had. You're one of the guys that I've always heard the best to never win the Olympia. I heard that about a couple of people, but your name comes up more often than not.
You know what? I've said this a billion times, Sean, it's great just to be respected by your peers, right? Guys that you're competing against, that you're going head to head with, trying to take money from them. And it gets personal sometimes. Sometimes we say things about each other in a magazine, but at the end of the day, to have people that you competed against think highly of you, I mean, honestly, to me, that's greater than an Olympia trophy, because trophies, all of us, I don't even know where some of my medallions are. I know yours are beautifully placed on your wall. I hate it. But yeah, it's just, I mean, all we want in life is to be accepted, regardless whether we're straight, gay, white, black, or whatever. So to be accepted by you guys and my peers is beautiful.
You didn't always feel that way. I know that, because the competitive side, Bob, doesn't allow for the fact. There's two Flex Wheelers. There's Ken Wheeler.
I've said this for years.
Right?
More than one in there.
There's a big difference between Kenny Wheeler and Flex Wheeler.
Yeah.
Flex Wheeler was the blinders on, I'm going to take your ass out at the Olympia. Don't stand
I got to
in
come
my
at
way.
your house at 2 o'clock in the morning or not, you know.
And, Kenny Wheeler is obviously what you guys see today, which is
I think so.
You know, it's like Flex 2.0. Like, you got a chance to be on the Olympia stage. You returned to the Olympia stage just this past year, bro.
Yeah.
But it was a different Flex Wheeler on stage. It wasn't a competition. It wasn't even the comeback of a few years ago to do your thing as the classic physique competitor. But this one was to receive a much deserved award, which was pretty cool. And
Don't make him cry, Bob.
I gotta be honest.
Don't make him cry.
First of all, listen, there's no crying in bodybuilding.
That's what
number
you say,
one.
but here we go.
Number two, I gotta be honest, bro. You had me a little bit nervous for a second with the speech. Now, to refresh your memories, right?
Classic. It's online.
He starts going down this road and he starts talking about his race and all this stuff, and I'm like, oh no, where's Flex going?
I love that. I don't know how I can. You know what? I was watching this movie, and I can't remember what it was, but it was about officers and dirty officers, and it was a clean officer, you know, just that got his badge and everything. And he couldn't understand why these veterans made maybe in his slight poor decisions.
Right.
But at the end of the movie, he ended up killing someone, and he was in that position where he had to do some creative writing. So anyway, I don't know how I came up with that, but the first time I said it, I was over in Kitani or whatever, Japan, and at the end of my whole song and dance, it just came to me.
Well, let's hear it for the encore, because they don't know what the hell
and I
we're
want them
about.
to understand. So it's like, listen, I love my race. God created my race to rule over all others. Everything flying in the air, everything swimming in the sea. My race is meant to rule over others. I love my race. I don't put any race above my race. And I normally go into about a 5-minute skit.
At this point, I was sweating bullets on stage, because I'm like, where's Flex going with this?
Like, it's going to be a
give
riot.
the big finish, though, Flex.
So, and what it is, it's to grip people. So normally when I'm saying that, everyone black, just gets riled up. And at the end of it, I say, so I want my race to stand up and acknowledge yourself of your greatness. So obviously everyone black stands up and they go crazy. So what I did is I convicted everyone who stood up. Because I pointed out what you were thinking. Everyone who sat down and probably said some probably not nice things about me, I convicted you also on the way you think. Because when I was talking about it, what I get at is, I love the human race. The human race was put here to rule over all others. And even biblically, whether you believe it or not, in the Bible it's written that our race is meant to rule over everything swimming in the sea, everything flying in the air. So in these days and times, guys, where it's such racial division and stuff like that, and certain races seems like they're being haunted, literally like haunted like a sport. I just want to let it...
Not haunted. Hunted.
Haunted. We're haunted.
It could be haunting. It could be
It's haunting. It's haunting. You're right.
There's ghosts in all colors, guys.
Yeah. Just my dyslexia. Anyway, I just wanted to show the universe between us, and it's truly what I mean, you know, and I'll end it and we can continue. My whole thing is my grandmother was raised in 1909. So historically, 1909, you need to understand what she witnessed. Tar and feathering. Look it up if you don't know what it means. People being hung with their privates in their mouths and stuff. So she's seen all that, and she always taught me, listen, Kenny, there's no such thing as black and white. There's only good and bad people. And we all know that because you might have some friends who are black that you would never associate yourself with, and you might opposite. So I've had people of all different color backgrounds treat me good and bad.
Well, I think that's the beauty and the bonding of the sport of bodybuilding. It brings together people from all nationalities, all races, all financial dispositions, educational backgrounds. I mean, we're all thrown into the same melting pot under the color of weights and fitness and in bodybuilding. And that's what we were talking about earlier. We had a Cuban win the Olympia. We had an Italian win it, an Austrian, an Englishman,
and finally an
Egyptian,
an African one.
And an African.
Let's face it, guys. All three of us know idiots of all colors, creeds, and in this game, right?
Well, you got a chance to stand on stage, Bob, with the Fabulous Flex. I'm going to call this the second best national championship.
All right, sir.
Where you both lost to the Maryland Muscle Machine in 1991.
Second best.
The first was when we were with when we stood on stage with
that's 91.
Me, you, Ronnie.
That's
I'm talking about 1991.
What's the first best?
I'm going to remind Flex of it. I'm reminding.
No. What's the
first one? Was in 1987, the national championship. The nationals, where it was loaded with talent. But the 91 was
okay. Wait. I want to argue this.
Okay, go ahead.
Here we go.
Who was in your year?
Okay, let's go back.
Who was in a year?
We're going to go back because in 87, Flex, you were washing my car back in Marina Del Rey.
Yeah, you wish. He didn't own a car.
In 1987,
in 87,
Flex,
I was busting heads. Yeah. So who was in the year that you won the nationals?
Okay, so
let's read this out.
Here we go.
We had the late Vinnie Comerford from here in Phoenix, Arizona.
Excellent bodybuilder.
Great middleweight champion back then. The 1988 national champion, Vince Taylor, with 7 Masters Nationals.
2 hard hitters,
He retired as the winningest pro bodybuilder of his day.
At that time,
what's he got to do with
the 1989 national champion, my former training partner, Troy the Zookster Zucolato. I got to give him a shout out. He was one of the first guys to go over to the Vince.
So he was in a year with you.
He was in there.
Okay, so that's 3.
The late Daryl Stafford.
You got this?
Was actually a Masters Olympia competitor. Daryl Stafford was very good.
Okay.
And we had some other guys in that show. You got to go back and look it up. Glenn Kinnear from here. Remember that guy?
Stop
from Arizona.
Glenn Kinnear.
Yeah,
you remember him?
No, stop it. Here,
go ahead.
Dude, you're mentioning some.
There we go.
Some very respectful names,
yes.
right? Dude, we're talking about some legends.
A bunch of young kids.
In the same class.
In the same class.
Kids.
Bob, rattle off who we had our year.
Listen, everybody knows this one, okay?
Yeah.
Lavroni.
Woo!
Guy named Flex Wheeler.
Matt Mendenhall. He was in
Paul DeMayo.
Yes.
Paul DeMayo. Great
Guy named Ronnie Coleman. He went on to do a couple things.
I heard of him.
Matt Mendenhall. Bob Ciccarello.
listen, he just...
Hang on, I'm not done.
Geez.
Chris Cormier.
You're right.
Edgar Fletcher.
You guys were all
Dean
there.
Caputo. John Saya.
Nice run.
Now, I will give you this opportunity to give me
rebuttal.
Give me your top 7 guys.
Who of those guys are going to beat Phil Hill? Let alone the overall champion.
Wait a minute.
Wait, stop it. Who of those guys are going to beat
Phil Hill?
What do you mean, Ronnie?
At that time, they weren't ready. It took 3 more years. It took 4 years for those guys to get there.
You can't say
we're talking
when
87.
they were ready.
Guys, hang on.
You can't
talk
talk
about
when they were ready.
We're talking about a particular class.
right.
Don't start throwing in other guys from other. Listen, I was in that show with Phil Hill.
I remember.
Because that was Phil Hill.
Mendenhall.
No, hang on. Harry Dodich. Troy Zucolato.
Eddie Robinson.
Johnny Ray Kinsey.
Eddie Robinson was there.
Yours truly in
Correct.
5th place, right? Listen, Robinson was in your class, correct?
Yes. No, he was a heavyweight that year, not the light heavyweight.
He wasn't in my class. That was 89.
87, he was not a light heavyweight. He missed.
All right, listen. What we want you guys to do,
This is so easy.
go online
Would it
and
compare?
compare the 2 years, because it's obvious. That year that me and Bob did the Nationals was the greatest lineup of all lineups.
Yeah.
You got an 8-time Mr. Olympia.
He wasn't ready for prime time. It took him another 6 years to win it.
You got an 8-time Mr. Olympia who was unchallenged.
It took
You got
9
Kevin
years
LeBron at that time also was one of the winningest bodybuilders in history.
Let me make this easy for you.
Let me make it easy for you. Help me out.
Name me the top 7 guys in your class at the 87
How about we take off our stuff right now and we'll go 87 against 91?
Listen, you don't want no part of this.
Let's talk about flex.
You don't want to go there.
Let's talk about flex some more because I know that's his favorite topic. Okay, so
name me you can't even name me the top 7 guys in
stop
your
living
class.
in the past. Let's come forward.
Who brought this up?
Let's bring it back. Let's fast forward this.
This
Okay.
is called painting yourself into a corner.
All right, so listen,
For those
Flex, you
playing at
got
home.
4 Arnold Classic titles to your credit. You were one of the winningest bodybuilders of your time. And you've been to Mountain Olympia. You thought you were going to win back, I think it was 98, right?
Actually,
You were right there with Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda.
Yeah.
But you stuck around like 4 years after I was done. Bob, you retired in 2006?
6. Yeah.
And your last time on the stage was in 05 trying to make a comeback. Or 04?
No.
Pro Ironman, he was trying to come back.
2003.
Against, when you were trying to go for the Arnold that year?
Yeah, 2003. Yeah,
I thought that was 4. We were training together with
Jay
Milos.
Cutler won, and freaking Melvin got me.
You let Melvin sneak
oh
up
my
on
God,
you.
that's his
You
big
never
claim
heard
to
that.
fame. My God.
Melvin Anthony beat
You
Flex
can never
Wheeler.
live that down, though.
He actually posted a picture the year that he won. He made it all nice.
Well, did he win or did he just beat
No,
you?
he beat me. He won against me. He took second. And I said, dude, I was like X amount of hours out from going to the hospital having a kidney transplant.
true.
You know, big ups to you for getting me out there.
He said he sent me into retirement because I retired in 2001 while you were right. But all that aside, Flex, I mean, again, so we're going to fast forward because you're getting the accolades, the fruit of your labor. I think you're present and your clarity is second to none at the moment because you're able to recognize other athletes for doing good. When you were a competitor, you were all about you. I mean, you didn't pay attention. But as an elder statesman now, attending these shows, doing your online training with these guys, having your own product line, your own back widow. The guy's got his own machine made after him. It seems now you're almost more active than when you were bodybuilding. I remember the days when it was time to go to the gym, and it was like pulling teeth, number one, to get you there. But once you got there, you weren't like a hard worker. You did the sets right, and then you'd wait, and you were exhausted, and then you'd go do it.
I love Sean. He'll give you a prop, but
you are more. No, I feel like
you did really what?
Body blow.
Anyway,
Body blow.
I lived it with you, but I feel like you are more present, more aware of emptying yourself back into society than you were as the introverted Flex Wheeler just trying to build yourself.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, as we live more days on this earth, we should become mature, wiser, and more loving, right? You know, one of the most selfish things as a pro athlete or anyone, well, let's even change that. Not a pro athlete, but trying to achieve greatness, right? So there's a difference of winning, you know, the NFL or no disrespect to those guys, the NBA or whatever, but we are competing against guys all the way around the world. Individuals and trying to be the best in the world. So that type of focus and everything is just, it's unbelievable. But, you know, I really feel that we have a degree. I've been in this sport since I was 13. There's no doctorings or bachelors that take that long.
Right.
So to take all that information that we had, you know, and then to pour it back into what gave us this. So, you know, this sport took me off the streets from being homeless and this, that, and other. So for me, it's only necessary, it's only right for me to give back and give these kids, you know, these young men and women an opportunity to be able to flourish like I did. But yeah, I had a rough life, you know, coming up and everything like that. And, you know, it showed as a young person being just, you know, propelled into the limelight and, like that and everything. But I will say, when you say I didn't train hard, you know,
with me,
I think that, well, my thing, so here's the thing, honestly, the truth is, and I'm aware of this, whenever you train someone else's style, it's going to crush you because you're not used to it. It doesn't matter whether they're stronger, this, that, and other.
Fair point.
It's going to crush you. Me, I always loved to be around people who were excellent at what they did because they would push me further. So, and not that you did this or anything like that, but if I'm training with someone and they're crushing me and they're laughing and joking and this, that, and the other, who's getting a better workout? You know, so going in there and knowing that you are a high rep guy when I wasn't. Later on, I found out how worthy that was. Going in there, you know, I always understood, even though we were violently competitive against each other, right? Respectfully. Not like the kids now where we're disrespectful. Respectful, me and you were borderline. But
I was just going to say.
But I always knew if I got crushed, or more so, if I was honest with myself and allowed you to push me beyond my barrier,
Right.
I got a great workout out of that. And it took a lot out of me because I was a very cocky, arrogant, in your face, always wanting to win. So for me to have to be vulnerable, to allow someone to push me beyond my barrier, I understood that it was better than me. And for somebody like you, who we had very similar styles, you know, we know our flash was kind of similar, you know, the cars and everything else. It was probably the most difficult to be vulnerable around you because I knew he was going to talk about me and make fun of me. It's just true, but that's just a way, and it's true. I mean, it doesn't matter. So you know, I just thank God I, I've been alive long enough to mature and to see that, because some people don't. They don't get an opportunity to make mistakes along the way and grow from them. And then you have other people who continuously, and we know them now, continuously make mistakes and they haven't learned that lesson. So me, I'm still learning, man. You know, I have a new saying, you know, I'm trying to accept my weaknesses or change what I can accept,
right,
and accept what I can't change. And I'm still learning.
Flex, it's well documented, at least in my circle, that you're dyslexic. I don't know what that's like, and I don't think a lot of people out there, you haven't really publicly spoken about it.
Yeah.
Because again, I've seen you through the trials and tribulations after the car crash, went hunting you down when you're in the hospital with issues. But the dyslexic part, explain a little bit of that, because sometimes it's confusing when you say you have it and people don't know what it is.
Yes, so I don't really know the true definition of dyslexia. I knew I was always that way. My mother's that way. I didn't know it was passed down or anything like that. So I came up during an era where dyslexia, they didn't know about it, and when I was in primary school and all that, and we were considered idiots, stupid, hard to learn, you know, knuckleheads. And you know, being Kenny Wheeler at that time and going through what I had to go through, unfortunately, being that they didn't understand it, what I started doing in school was when a teacher, and that's back when we had to go and write up on the blackboard.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Guys like you guys probably first at that, right? No, nice. Yeah, looking back at the yeah, see me later. No, but I loathed
Deflect.
the chance of walking up and writing on the blackboard. I just couldn't stand it because I knew I couldn't spell. So what I started doing is when a teacher said, you know, Kenny, come up and write whatever, marijuana on the blackboard.
That's a tough
Why
one.
would they be writing that?
That's a tough one. I'd probably fail that one.
Tough school.
I almost flunked that in police academy writing that. But what I started doing, sadly, is I immediately tell the teacher, fuck off.
Wow.
So what that happens is,
flexible.
How'd that work for you?
so let me explain the sad logic to that that I was thinking. I didn't have to go to the blackboard and have everybody tease me and know that, quote unquote, in their eyes, I'm stupid.
Yeah, I got you.
It immediately got me kicked out of class, so she didn't call upon me anymore. Now back then we got paddlings, which said they don't do anything. So I would take my paddling, but when I went to class the next day,
she never
called on me again.
Yeah, because she didn't know what you were
really,
going to say.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Kind of smart, actually, when you think about it.
Smart and sad because I didn't get a chance to learn. So what dyslexia is for me, I see things in reverse. You know, sadly, you know, if you're reading something, I can't identify to the words that I can't even literally break them down as fast as you're reading.
Are you catching up? Are you?
No, what I've learned, when I read, I've learned to remember words. Okay. I still can't put together syllables or, you know, the alphabet. So, you know, you used to have the cartoons back then. Right. You know, I still can't do that. I literally would put Darius and Nia shoes on backwards, and they would look at me and say, "Daddy, you put on the wrong shoe." And it's weird because I've talked to other dyslexic people, and immediately it would rearrange itself and I would see clearly. So if I was reading and you said, no, Flex, that word isn't that, it's pronounced this way. As effed up as it is, as soon as you say that, it's almost literally like the words move and then I identify and I see
Hunted.
Right.
That.
Yeah, so you know, so that's dyslexia. So now the public knows about it. I know I started learning a lot more about it and understanding. So the other thing is, which is kind of good, is when part of the brain is troubled and not being able to perform properly, other parts of the brain are highlighted and so on. So you have a lot of people who are great athletes, great singers and movie actors and stuff like that. That's the reason why they're able to perform at that level, because there's other parts of the brain that is heightened.
Tom Cruise, I think, was dyslexic. I believe.
I used to know
laundry list of actors.
Yeah, I used to know a
people.
lot of actors who were, and it made me feel kind of more comfortable. There are classes that they actually offer and government pays for it. I'm just kind of so old and honestly still so embarrassed that I can't go to those classes. I can't tell you how many movies and commercials I turned down because I was just too embarrassed.
But I think you've done a great job in transitioning out of competitive bodybuilding to putting yourself in places like this where people actually get to talk. I think the more engaging you are, the more you're handling it, and you speak very well. Your thoughts are put together very well, and I know the fans appreciate you being on this side of the camera, sharing with them the coverage of bodybuilding. But right now, Bob, we're going to take a break so you can find out what this guy did to smack you around back in 1991 at the Nationals.
Now we're back.
We'll be right back after this commercial break. All right, welcome back. You are watching Monday Night Muscle with the fabulous Flex Wheeler and the voice of bodybuilding, Bob Ciccarello.
Chicky baby. What's going on, Chicky
Luckily,
baby?
modern technology tells me I can look this stuff up in record time. Here's where you fail, my friend. Ooh. Not only does 87 not
Are we back in 1987?
Yeah. Not only does it not keep up with 91, but I'll submit to you, and we can debate this, I don't even know if your class was as tough as the heavyweights in 87. Here's what you got,
Here
Flex.
we go.
Light heavyweights, Sean Ray, Daryl Stafford, J.J. Marsh, Vince Taylor, right? Glenn Kinnear, Jeff Snead, James Hampton, and a guy named Ron Coleman, not to be confused with Ronnie Coleman. Now, impressive lineup, right?
Very.
Sean had a very impressive bunch there to beat.
Yeah.
Now, same show. Here's the heavyweights.
4 years later, I might add.
No. This is the same show.
Same year.
That was the light heavies.
Oh, the heavyweights.
Because you were never that big, right? Light heavies. This is the heavyweight lineup. Phil Hill, Harry Dodich, Troy Zucolato, Johnny Ray Kinsey, yours truly, James DeMello, Kyle Norris, and Deke Warner.
Deke Warner from Florida.
Now,
I remember.
I'm sorry.
That's the. By the way, Matt Mendenhall was 11th, respectively, in that show, just to show you how tough the competition was. So, in conclusion, not only does 87 not only candle to 91, but I don't know if it even beats the heavyweight lineup that year.
Well, once again, Bob, you're wrong. Anyways, it's all about perspective and opinion. But you had to be there. You got to remember, 1987, Mike Tyson was at the top of his game, right? I think 91, we were going into what? Some war over in
91, we were Olympic time, and what's his name?
I think we had the Desert Storm going on back then.
What's his name? Screwed it up for everybody, failing the drug test at the Olympics.
We had Ben Johnson.
Yeah, Ben Johnson. Thanks a lot, Ben. Thanks for messing with us.
Let's bring it all back to Flex Wheeler, because that's who it's really all about.
Let's get to...
I was hoping you were going to make him cry, but I guess...
He was close.
No, there's no...
When you saved me.
Well, let's go back.
You start coming in with the coarse joke and you saved me.
Here's the reason why I like Flex, okay? Because a lot of people thought...
Tell me.
Well, you thought I hated you. I never hated you. I knew which buttons to push.
I just thought you were cruel as hell.
No. I always thought, and I told you this, who's my favorite bodybuilder never to win the Olympia besides myself?
Yeah.
Okay.
You were smart. You knew the right buttons.
I remember back in Flex, you
maybe not so wise in pushing some of those buttons.
Yeah, I mean, you pushed me to the edge. I had a lot of sleepless nights messing with Flex, but nonetheless... You did save me one time. I came up to Fresno, your hometown.
Yeah.
Give us the short version of how you saved my life.
I got to hear this.
We went to a club. I mean, it was my ideal to bring Son to Fresno. You came to guest pose, and it was just. I mean, I looked up to this.
This is where we met, right?
Yes. I looked up to this young man. I mean, we didn't have that many magazines in our gym. It was kind of a poor gym, but. Man, when he asked me, who should we have for the Fresno Classic? I'm like, man, if we can get this dude, Sean Ray, it's all right.
I think it was Mr. California at the time.
Yeah. So Sean came up, did his guest posing, great. Girls went crazy over him. Like, yeah, he leaving. I live here, so But we went out to this spot that I frequently hang out at, and I don't know what happens, but
now what year are we in?
This is like an 87 or something.
This is early. Okay.
Yeah. So I can't remember what happened, but some guys wanted to get it in with Sean.
He's a karate expert.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I just shut that down real quick.
Yeah, and I always appreciated that. So forget
about it, man.
From there, I moved into my second apartment in Marina Del Rey. This is my Gold's Gym coming out.
So as a thank you, he screwed with you for the next 10 years.
I know.
He wasn't there yet.
Career.
He wasn't
No,
there
but
yet.
we were friends until then. Yeah, he let me sleep on his couch.
yeah.
Now, wait,
Little did I know, he set me up to sleep on his couch so I could move.
But by the
move
way, I'm like
everything.
Mr. Miyagi. I see the talent.
Well, wait a
I
minute.
see him coming.
I remember you even gave me a compliment then. You were like, damn, man, you got some great
what did you
shaped
do to
arms.
get yourself in trouble with the
I don't
club?
remember, but when you're on the top of the food chain, people like to shoot for you. And I think Flex saw somebody like rub up against me or look at me the wrong. He's a karate dude.
Yeah, I know.
He-
Right?
He's
Yeah.
the guy you don't want to bump into in the nightclub back in 1987.
Or
so I was
now.
glad to have him, and I appreciate him. So I kind of wanted to keep him close to my
Stupid,
clan. He'd
geez.
drive down in his Suzuki Samurai Jeep
wow.
Freaking,
to Gold's Gym with the boombox and all that
stuff's
stuff.
great.
Yeah.
And I was living in the marina. I mean, we had Samir Banu and Labrada. All these people were in the marina. Anyway, I watched Flex come up, and I watched him win the California. I believe that was 1989.
89.
The irony of all of this is sometime much later, like 95, we're both California champions. We're both battling it out for the Olympia. He's going to guest pose somewhere up in Northern California. I think it was like Paul Love Show in San Jose.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
And I told him, I go, there's a couple of twins up there that are really
There
hot.
we
Paul
go.
Love's got some
Oh,
hot
yeah, you-
daughters. The next thing I know,
You're going
this
to get
guy.
yourself in trouble. You're
I'm
still
just saying.
married. Hopefully,
No, I mean,
is this
I
the
was young.
past? Yeah,
This
it
is
was before he
95.
met you.
I was on a whole other planet.
Yeah.
But I said, Paul Love's got some cute daughters. Later on, became the mother of his 3 kids and his wife.
Is that 95?
Yeah, it was like 95, somewhere back in there, 96, somewhere
So
in
you
there.
got this guy to thank for your first wife?
hold on.
No, it's because you struck out with her sister.
Yeah, well, that was,
yeah,
his sister was too. Her sister was too young for me at the time.
Gotcha.
But we do have history. What people don't see is this side of history that was the good side. Because
And we traveled the world
I knew
together,
how
yeah.
good Flex Wheeler was. I knew how I knew he was going to be the guy to beat. And as the wheels of time was churning, I was maxed out at my height, right? So I was kind of like Labrada. You could only go so far with what we have.
You were smart enough
You were
to know
maxed
that.
out at your
though.
height.
I was
at
smart enough to
15.
know that. But
that's true.
He was entrenched in Gold's Gym training with the biggest and the best, right? So Big was the name of the game. Gary Stridham, all those guys
that's
were in there.
some big
Jim
boys.
Quinn.
Yeah.
I was home doing my artistry stuff. I was just trying not to get too disproportionate.
Wise. Very wise.
Witness Flex crashed the car. He got second in his first Olympia.
Yeah, I know.
Bodybuilder of the year, 1993, won his first four
Still
shows.
the greatest pro debut in the history of the sport.
And I'm
That's the only
reminding
thing
you
I
of
got.
that.
That's the only thing I got.
Not even arguable.
That's the only thing I got.
You know what, though? It makes me think of this, like these old stories in this. Is there something missing today for these guys that there is no major
Wow
hub?
factor.
Like a lot of us competed and trained in the same gym back then.
Right.
Yeah.
Even in the early 90s, I came out to California. I was there for 91, 92. We were
Yeah.
all getting ready for the USA,
Right.
the Nationals, and everybody was there.
Yeah.
But it was really interesting and cool. Because you had like the old days, like you had the golden years, in the 70s with Arnold, like
That's what
all
all
those
the old
great
guys say.
pictures you
It's
see,
cliche,
right?
yeah.
And like you said, a lot of those names you just mentioned, Banut and Gary Stridham and
Everybody
Mike
was there.
Christian, right? And Mike Matarazzo, he was out there at that point.
Yeah.
And all of us, and
Chris
Chris
Gaspari
Cormier,
came in, Chris,
Gaspari,
yep.
Rico was there.
Yeah,
right?
Rico, yeah.
I mean, everybody was there getting
Gary
ready for the
Stridham.
same shows, which
But
was
here's what's different,
kind of cool.
Here's what's different is we've evolved because that is no longer.
No.
The closest thing you can get is maybe New York, where you have a high population of athletes in Bev Francis's Powerhouse Gym, and Steve Weinberger, the East Coast Mecca, because the West Coast Mecca, there's really
no
not even.
longer
I mean,
existing.
Dexter Jackson was the last great thing to come out of that.
I mean, all
gym.
things being, full circle, because history does seem to repeat itself. Is that coming back at some point, or have we passed the point of no return? Like the last time I saw the Mecca.
Yeah. I don't know
It was
about
not the Mecca.
Mecca-wise, but I don't think that type of chemistry will ever happen again because honestly, the nucleus to all that was the Weiders.
Yeah.
Right.
And that we were Weider
True.
athletes, and it was always a goal to
photo
become the
shoots.
Weider athlete. The photo shoots, going up to the big Weider office. That was the mud that kept us all together
And Flex,
and actually made Gold's Gym
That's a great
the gym.
point to bring up
Yeah.
that I think gets lost because we all talk about Gold's Gym and the Mecca, right? Now that was a huge drawing point
Yeah.
for all of us, right?
Sure.
But you're exactly right, and I don't think I've ever heard anybody else bring that up. That was about 50% of the equation. The other 50 was Joe Weider, right?
Yeah.
You wanted to get to the offices.
Well,
you wanted to go see Joe Weider.
I would even say it's a little bit more than 50 because that
photo shoots.
gym
right.
was the nucleus of Joe Weider
True.
and the photo shoots, and Joe actually the potential of having him walk through the gym and see him.
Right.
So that's the reason why we
the
all
celebrity
we
factor.
all
The celebrity
we all made Gold's Gym so powerful.
And on any
It's because
given
of
weekend,
that.
there's a photo shoot going on there, right?
Not
Or
only that,
there's Chris Lund.
You can walk in and go, wow, there's Keanu Reeves.
Right.
There's
No kidding.
Magic
I know,
Johnson.
right?
Yeah, that's no kidding.
I mean, it's crazy.
And when the Lakers would play the Bulls,
Yeah, they were
all
all
the
in there.
freaking Bulls would be in there and everything. It'd be like Jurassic Park. I remember one time I
Doubles.
was making fun of some of the basketball players because there was always one thing about Gold's Gym is the common denominator is that we got down. So it didn't matter if you were an A-list actor,
Right.
competed in the Olympics or anything. When you walk through those doors,
training.
you were training
James
and you were
Caan,
normal.
Dennis Hopper.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
And we all got along.
Jodie Foster. I mean, that was the draw of the
Yeah.
Mecca. That's no longer.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we got athletes flying all the way to Oxygen Gym in Kuwait,
Right.
which is a great place to train.
Sure.
And it really is boot camp because there's nothing else to do but train. You got Rolly Winkler out there. You have Big Ramy out there from time to time. You've made the pilgrimage. We've all.
Ashkenani. I mean,
I
there's
think
a
we
lot
all
of great
recognize that
bodybuilders.
right now you can train anywhere.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
The question is, are you training at your peak? What happened to the camaraderie? Where is the friendships? Ththose are the things that I think are missing a little bit. Hold that
And
thought.
hold that thought. What I was going to say. I want the commercial. I want the commercial. What the
I want
comeback
you to
is.
come back. Look at right here. We'll be right back. with
gotta
Flex
pay-
Wheeler
we gotta pay
and Bob
bills.
Chick.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Joe Weider's Olympia here in Orlando, Florida. A little bit strange coming out of Las Vegas for all of those years.
Good evening, and welcome to the event that nearly never happened.
There's been an absence of a particular group of people on this stage that are back tonight. Tonight I'm here to say, welcome back to Miss Olympia.
All right, we were right here a second ago, Flex. But you don't remember what the hell we were talking about.
I do not. Do you?
we were rambling about the camaraderie, where's the,
Right.
do you have to be in one place these days? With social media, it seems like the guys can kind of reach out and see each other. I'm of the opinion at the advanced age of 50 plus that you can kind of train anywhere. It's what you make of the tools that are given to you.
But there's something missing, though. Are these guys? You guys had each other. You had all those guys we just mentioned.
Man.
You had all these guys walking around. There's Chris Lund doing a shoot. Hey, there's Robert Reef doing a
Jackie
shoot.
Joyner walking
Right.
through the
Yeah.
door.
Here's all these super.
correct.
Right. I mean, it was all there. And these guys now is it clearly a case of you don't ever miss what you didn't have?
I think it's when that ship has sailed, it's hard to recreate because it takes the younger personality. When I say younger, we're talking 30
But they may have
years
said
off.
that in the 70s.
But I'm saying we're
right?
taking
and
30
then another
years.
curve back
Actually,
in the
no.
90s.
I think we can agree that all eras before us
Right.
do declare the 90s as the it year century. I don't think it's been an
let's talk
argument.
about
with that.
Woodstock. You can't really recreate
No,
Woodstock.
well, they tried. Remember a couple
They
of
tried
years
it.
ago?
It didn't work. The
No, it
Million
wasn't
Man
even
March
close.
is not the Million Man March like
It's,
when they.
it's a time and a place, and
Yeah.
it's like we always talk about with things like that. Look, you can't recreate the origins of rock and roll.
No.
You can't come back to the '57 Chevy.
And why should we, Bob? Why should we? I mean,
Right.
now we have different tools that we didn't have then. We have,
True, the
we have the
machines,
internet.
yes.
We have this show
Right.
that Jake brought us all together. So where they don't have that type of one-on-one camaraderie, we do have this show where we can get guys on this show and talk and everything. So
Yeah.
it's almost a double-edged sword. We don't have that FaceTime with them, but the world has gotten a lot smaller because of the internet, the ability
And
to do the things that
some
we couldn't
athletes
do.
are able to tap into it. I mean, like Kai Green's got what, 6 million
Good
followers.
gosh.
Phil Heath's got like 3 million.
Yeah,
I mean, you
good
can really
gosh.
target your fan base with social media, which
So it's
we
a pro and
couldn't
con.
do.
Yeah, it's a pro and
No,
con.
we were laughing earlier that some years back when we were doing stuff like that, the only thing you could have was a mail-in course.
That's it.
Right, with your stuff.
And Frank Zane, some of those guys capitalized on those courses.
Listen, that was state of the art at the time, right? You mail it in, you mail your check in. They're going to send you these 3 courses: how to get big biceps or this and that.
So let's wrap this up. I have a question for both of you.
Dude, you're the guest. We got questions.
I know,
Dude,
but give me one. Give me
I'm
one.
gonna give you one. So
Go
you
ahead,
won
go ahead.
everything.
Let
Okay,
the
you got
man
4
answer.
Arnold classes.
What do you got, Flex?
3 first
I
Olympia
got-
runner-ups. Go
I
ahead.
like that. Keep going.
3 first Olympia runners.
Yeah.
4 or 5 Ironman championships. 5 Ironman championships. A Hall of Fame career.
I got like 4 of those.
And you're getting recognized with the Ben Weider Award.
Yeah, one of those.
I think Jay Cutler just gave you something out in Las Vegas. At one of his
And
shows.
you know what? I don't want to be
And Chris
disrespectful.
Cormier just recognized you.
Yeah, I don't want to be disrespectful because the first person who gave me an award was Dexter. He brought me to a show. It was quite some years ago, and he brought all the bodybuilders up on stage. And I'm like, what the? I'm like, dude, wow, I'm right here. You don't got me on stage. And he was the first to give me a Lifetime Achievement Award. But I'll go back to, you know what, no matter what, Sean, and especially in this day and age, man, we just want to be accepted. You know, with the whole racial division, you know, blacks just want to be accepted as human beings. Chinese, whites, everybody, we just want to be accepted. Now with the LBG and all this stuff, people just truly.
That's LBGTQ or something like that.
They keep adding letters to it.
Listen, I'm dyslexic.
Yeah.
So none of you guys send me email or hate mail, all right? I'm good. But truly, we just all want to be accepted, regardless of what income race we are. So, I mean, again,
Can't we all just get along?
I think that has to do a lot with age too. If you, like Mike Tyson said the other day on his documentary, like he didn't expect to live past 40.
I never did.
So blowing
right.
through $300 million wasn't a thing for him.
I never
And I
expected
know-
to get out of my 20s. I said that a billion times. I never expected to get out of my block. And sadly, and you know, I haven't talked about this too much. Sadly, I think some of the years that I lived recklessly as a pro, I never really expected to be there too many days after that. It's sad, but when you come from my type of background, you don't expect too much of yourself, and you don't put too much weight on yourself. So it's a sad thing, but you know, we have so many different tools to be able to help people. Like I try to help people. If you guys have any issues like that, you know, hit me up on my Instagram. I try to talk. Actually, I just talked a person down from being suicidal just a couple of days ago. So
And who would have thought he has the ability to do
but,
that?
and you know what? And bring this to the close because I don't want to be too long-winded. But you know, through all this hardship that I've been through, you know, homeless, welfare, you know, sexually molested, you know, kidney transplant, all these surgeries and everything I had, and now the amputee.
Survived all my years of mind games.
Yes, yeah.
And that probably
the worst torment I've been through.
Right.
But I couldn't help anyone if I hadn't been through one of those.
Right.
So what I try to do is take all these lemons that I was dealt through life and try to make lemonade and help other people. So, and it's actually very therapeutic for me. When I was on the phone with a person the other day, some of the things I was saying, I even said to that person, I have to listen to myself and apply that in my times of darkness. So all these things I've been able to take, and I've been able to help and help other people through those things.
Well,
so it's a great thing about
You're
it.
literally built for this.
Absolutely.
I mean, your past is now actually to help other people. You wouldn't have that ability if you didn't go through that. I can't
Very
do
true.
what you do.
Right.
So
I think out of the worst of situations sometimes comes the best of humanity.
Sure, it can be if you're willing to dive into it and just, you know, look at yourself. I remember just watching this interview that Tupac done, and it was amazing. Some of these guys' insights, it's just amazing. And he said, you know, in this interview, I forgot what I was about to say.
Well, it's incredible. The thing about it is, Flex, the thing is, people haven't been through what
dyslexic is not your only issue here.
people haven't been through what he's been through. So
Yeah.
to recount it and to relive it and then to pay it forward, it's a very hard thing to do because you got to do it with a sense of clarity. But your mind takes you back to that darkness.
Yeah, and it's
that's why this
draining.
guy's
Well,
crying all the time.
For those of us that know you,
draining.
it's great to see you reinvent. It's great to see you now helping other people with that. So we got Flex 2.0.
And he's
Sean.
not
It's
going around
probably like 30.0.
30.0.
Yeah,
Oh no,
man.
because we knew Flex. I knew the real Flex, and you guys don't want to know the real Flex because
Well, let's open up the.
you got to walk like kind of carefully around Flex.
Call 1-800.
Flex was like Debo back in the day.
Oh
Oh
you
my
can ask Flex
God,
all your
geez.
questions and all that. So we'll start the thing. But Flex, been great catching up as always,
sir.
my friend, and you know, appreciate you really opening up to the fans out there. They love to hear all the old stories, of course, because that's all you got is
That's
old
all I
stories,
got,
Sean.
bro.
So
We're just old.
And you're the oldest one here, bro.
all right.
Oh, he's the oldest one here.
Wrapping it up.
I'm the oldest one here.
Wrapping it up.
All right, well, there it is with the fabulous Flex Wheeler, the Hall of Famer. Look him up. He's on YouTube. He's got karate moves. What are you, a grandfather as well? You got like 4 or 5 kids?
I'm a great grandfather.
5 kids?
I'm a great grandfather.
Great grandfather,
Great
man.
grandfather.
Well, we're glad to have you here at Monday Night Muscle.
And looking to put out a few more. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
We're gonna-
Brother, you know, I mean,
You
you know,
still
I'm
look
available.
good.
You know what I'm saying? You know, hey,
Well, we appreciate you joining us here
get
as
done.
a guest. And we see these guys on the road to the Olympia coming
Nico
up.
made me say that. There you go.
On the road to the
Okay.
Olympia, we're going to see more of Flex Wheeler here at Monday Night Muscle throughout the season. Olympia is taking place October 7th to the 10th in Orlando, Florida. We'll
Tickets are available now.
Absolutely. We'll all be there. For Bob Chick, Flex Wheeler, I'm Sean Ray.